Hello, welcome. I'm Sebastian Andrew, and today I'm going to talk about education. Now, during the pandemic, a lot of us had to learn about how to teach kids at home. And there was an opportunity there for growth that kind of fell through the floorboards. It was VR. That was a direction I really hoped virtual reality would go. And it has in some countries. I have a friend in Taiwan who is a university professor, and he uses VR in one of his classes as a teaching medium. Um, and imagine if you could use that in the lower levels of school, where children are more open-minded, more imaginative. Now imagine putting on a VR goggle and being immersed in a historic event or being surrounded by historical people and hearing their side of things. Hearing Einstein talk about his equations and his work, or hearing Tesla talk about his work and demonstrating it for you right there in front of you. Now, wouldn't that be fun? And then imagine if you could take the VR and not just have immersive events, but have fun. You could turn it into games. And there have been studies upon studies upon studies that have shown children learn best. Most people learn best when having fun. That's something we missed. Somewhere somebody said, no, we're going to beat it into their brains and that's where it's going to be. That's not the way to learn. It's easier to learn when you're having fun. It's easier to remember when you're laughing, when you're happy. The best memories most people have are the ones when you are having the most fun. So imagine if we turned that into a teaching system with virtual reality immersing the children in the learning process. And then the best part about that, one of the best parts, is that they can do it at home. We wouldn't need school buildings anymore. We wouldn't need, and yet I understand that children are also social and they need to be among their own ages. I understand that. But you're not seeing that much anymore. When I was a kid, that's all we did. We'd get done with school, we'd go out, we'd ride our bikes, we'd have fun, we'd come in when the sun went down. That was fun. Nowadays, all the kids are like this. In their iPads, and their phones, and their whatever. They're not looking at the world. I'm really looking forward to April 8th, guys, because you're all going to look up and go, you know what April 8th is? April 8th is a solar eclipse. And where I'm sitting, it's going to be right above me. I'm going to get a camp chair. I'm going to park it outside in front of my apartment building. I'm going to get a pair of those eclipse glasses, and I'm going to sit there and go like this for 3 hours and watch. Now I live on what's at the moment a dead end street, so there's not going to be much traffic. And there's this great big empty field directly across from my house, which I have a feeling is going to grow camp chairs. but it's the perfect spot to watch the eclipse. And that's the day a lot of kids, at least in the states that the eclipse is going over, a lot of kids are going to be outside going, "What's that?" Because they're not going to know what the sun is. But as I was saying, use the VR as an educational tool and then take the VR away and put them together in groups and let them have fun. But keep the tech mostly out of it. Unless you want to start a game of Pokemon Go, which I never really got into when it was around, but I'm sure the kids would enjoy. But that's AR. Okay, that's augmented reality rather than virtual. They're still part of the world. They're still seeing the things around them. Imagine playing Pokemon Go in a cemetery. Imagine them looking among the tombstones and noting the different sizes and shapes and things. That would be a heck of a learning experience. Now, there's a cemetery that I would love to go wandering through, and I plan on going sometime this spring and this summer, called Glendale. I'm sorry, Glendale. But it's supposedly got a lot of mausoleums and a tower, a bell tower. Now, I don't know of any cemetery, well, me knowing personally any cemetery that has a bell tower. I know a number of cemeteries that has a lot of interesting features. There's a cemetery up in Cleveland Heights, that has a lot of interesting features, interesting tombstones and interesting monuments. And that's another cemetery I'd love to visit, except it's all hills. That would be a little difficult for me because balance and walking uphill is a little hard. But if we could give the children something new to them and different, I think we would find that their educational level would increase exponentially. Now, VR is 1 degree, and it would help because it would take them out of the school, out of the building, away from the bullying, away from the problems, the violence that we have in the school buildings and around the school buildings, and it would put them home. Now, admittedly, not a lot of parents can have their children at home because they're working. But if you go with my other video that says we take the parents out of the workforce, then they're home. That's a thought. And if not, then we reinstill our elders into a place that they've known for centuries, where they are the ones that the children turn to for their education. And in this case, an elder could act as a tutor or as simply as a person, an adult in the room, in the house, with the child, with the children, being a part of the child's educational life. And it would give the elder something to do and something to look forward to in their golden years. It's a thought. Give it some thought. Imagine it. And I'm Sebastian Leandro.